everyone, it's Star the Flippin' Hippo. Thank you for joining us on our YouTube channel at Flippin' Hippos. Today is Saturday, November 30th, and as you can tell by the title, we're going to talk about thermal printers today. First, we're going to jump right on in and talk about the 5 ways you can save a lot of money for your business by switching to a thermal printer. And then at the end, I'm going to talk about some different kinds of thermal printers you can invest in and why it's so important. So the number one thing that you're going to save money on when you switch to a thermal printer is ink. Thermal printers use heat to print. They do not require ink or ink cartridges. You will literally just replace the rolls of labels inside of the thermal printer, and you will never need to purchase ink again. And that is a huge savings. Back in the beginning, Keith and I did print our labels on our paper or ink printer and cut and tape them just like everybody does when they first start out. And we were having to buy an ink cartridge about once a month. That's $30-40 a month that you're going to save right off the bat because you do not ever have to purchase ink for thermal printers. The second way you're going to save money is with paper. Comparably, labels and paper probably cost right around the same amount, depending on where you're buying your label or your labels or your paper from, if you're getting bulk deals or whatever. But let's just say you can get a package of 250 labels and a pack of 250 sheets of printer paper for the same price. You're going to use all 250 labels in your thermal printer. You're going to print 250 labels. On those 250 sheets of paper in your ink printer, you're going to print 250 labels, but you're going to be cutting the half of the paper off. So you're wasting half the paper. So you're basically wasting 125 sheets of paper. It's a huge waste overall. You're buying more paper than you would be buying labels. Number 3 is tape. Obviously, if you're printing out your labels one by one on sheets of paper, you have to cut them and then tape them to the packages. And you're using tons of tape to do this. Even if you have a store subscription with eBay and you get free tape, you're still using your coupon for that tape, and you could be using it on any amount of other things that you could be using for your business, or using that tape just for boxes in times when you really need tape, rather than taping all your labels on. And if you're buying clear tape, you're wasting money. Number 4, you're going to be saving on postage. So if you're still taking all of your packages to the post office and having them weigh them and paying for shipping there, you are wasting astronomical amounts of money. It's not even fathomable how much money you are wasting. If you print your labels from home, number 1, you get a discount from eBay. And that discount gets bigger as time goes on. Once you get top rated seller and top rated seller plus, you get a bigger discount. But in addition to eBay, there's other choices out there such as Pirate Ship that you can print your labels on and save a ton of money because they give you a discount as well. If you're going to the post office, you're paying retail prices and you are not getting any type of discount for being a business or a volume seller or a volume shipper or anything like that. That is a huge waste of money. And number 5 is the big one for me. It's time. So time is money. You guys hear me say that all the time. Time is money. And it really is, especially in our business. If you are sitting there printing labels out one by one and then cutting them up or cutting off the extra and then taping each one to every single package, you are wasting astronomical amounts of time. In the amount of time that it takes you to cut and tape, think about how many labels you could have fixed to your packages if you just ripped off a sheet of labels that were peel and stick and stuck them on. Time is seriously money. And I would say when we first switched to a thermal printer, we cut our shipping time in half. So the time it took us to pull all of our packages, package them up, print the labels out, and put them on the packages, we cut that in half just by switching to a thermal printer and being able to just stick and peel instead of cutting and taping. And time is money. So if you can cut your shipping time in half, you can spend that time taking photographs listing, sharing your Posh Closet, going out sourcing. There's so many things you should be doing with your time instead of cutting and taping labels to packages. So those are the 5 ways that you can save money with a thermal printer: ink, paper, tape, postage, and time. Now let's talk about some of the different thermal printers. The 3 most popular are going to be your Dymo 4XL, the Rollo, and the Arkscan. These all print the larger labels that you're used to seeing on packages, and they are compatible with Poshmark, Mercari, Amazon. They go across all the platforms. They're the perfect size for anywhere that you might have your items selling. And they print right out and they go right on the package. Those printers, the 3 of them, I mean, they'll go on sale sometimes for $120, $130. They average like $150 to $170, which sounds like a lot, but when you're investing money in your business and you're going to be overall saving money and time, it's not a lot. It is absolutely worth it. I would say that if you have the capital now, if you have the ability right now, you should definitely purchase one of those thermal printers for your business. And if you don't, set aside $5, $10, $20, whatever you can afford out of your profits every week or every 2 weeks, or make a monthly goal. But choose some amount of money out of your profits that you can afford to set aside that doesn't have to be spent on fees or bills or sourcing or reinvesting in the business, and set that aside until you've saved up enough to purchase one of those thermal printers. Now, in the meantime, if you've reached a point in your business where you are doing any kind of volume and you're still printing paper and cutting and taping, you definitely need to upgrade to some sort of thermal printer. You are wasting just so much time and so much money. And if you're not at a point right now where you can buy one of the 3 thermal printers I've already mentioned, there is an option here. This is the first one that Keith and I used. It's the Dymo Label Writer 450 Turbo. Now this one's about $60 or $70 on Amazon. And when we first upgraded from printing out paper labels, we upgraded to these. And they're okay. They work. They are not compatible with Poshmark. So this worked really well for us for 2 years. We've had this for 2 years before we upgraded to the Arkscan. The only thing, like I said, they're not compatible. It is not compatible with Poshmark. So we, up until we upgraded, still had to print our Poshmark labels on paper and cut and tape, which was kind of a bummer and a waste of time. But since we do most of our sales and most of our volume on eBay, these were fine for us. You can see they're smaller. However, anytime we sold on any other platform, we had to use our paper printer. So these are okay in a pinch. This is like a $60, like I said, a $60 or $70 thermal printer. It's still going to save you money on paper, ink, tape, postage, and time. It's just if you sell anywhere else, you still have to do the old-fashioned paper. And because these are smaller, the barcodes are smaller. So this is supposed to be able to be scanned with the scanner at the post office. Our post office had trouble with it. Sometimes our packages would scan and sometimes they wouldn't. The barcodes on these are, like I said, they're really small and squished. They're different than the bigger labels. And that could have been why, or it could have just been that our post office has bad scanners, because I know other folks who've used this and said they've had no issues with their post office scanning the barcodes in. But I just would put that out there so you guys know. Our post office often had a lot of trouble scanning these, so they would have to type the numbers in individually. And that's only if we didn't have a bulk sheet, which happens like never. So if you do bulk sheets, if you drop your packages off at the post office and run without getting a receipt, which I absolutely do not recommend anyone do, but if that's your game, if that's your thing, if you drop and run, if you put them on your porch for pickup, or if you do a bulk scan sheet, this is okay to use. It's fine. They can just scan your bulk scan sheet, count your packages, and you're good to go. And then you'll just have to use paper for other platforms. The labels for this are available brand name, or they're also available on Amazon. You can do a search. I'll put a link down below. They have labels that are off-brand, that are compatible with it, that are super duper affordable, especially if you buy them in bulk. And this is This is kind of like the middle ground. This is an option for folks who can't afford the $150, $160 thermal printers, but should definitely upgrade from paper to thermal. And then if you guys are in a position, absolutely, like if you're a hobby seller or you're just getting started, and every single penny that you make, every single dime that you make, you have to reinvest in your store at this point, that you just have nothing left to spare. You cannot afford a thermal printer at all. If you're brand new, if you're selling a package a day, a couple packages a day, if you're a hobby seller and you don't want to invest in your business, and you still want to do printing from home, there are a lot of really great printers out there. I would absolutely recommend that you at least, at the very, 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 very least, invest in an ink printer and print your labels from home. Even if you have to do that and you're cutting and you're taping, you're still saving money from going to the post office. Like I said before, if you take your packages to the post office, you're paying retail prices, you're paying layman prices, you are not getting any sort of discount for having an eBay store or being a reseller or shipping a lot of packages, and you're just wasting money. So at the very least, even if you're a hobby seller, you should have an ink printer at home that you're printing your labels on, the paper, cutting and taping. Now there's no shame in that. When Keith first started doing eBay, back when he was doing it on his own, he was printing each label on a piece of paper and then cutting it in half and then taping it to the packages. And when I got injured and could no longer work outside of the home and became disabled, I joined him and I was cutting the labels and taping them too. There's no shame. You got to start somewhere. Everybody starts at the beginning. Everybody starts with nothing, and you build your profits and you build your capital in your business, and then you reinvest as you move up. Eventually, when we started selling 10 to 15 packages a day on eBay, it just got to be, we needed to upgrade. It got to the point where we had to, but we weren't in a position where we wanted to spend $160 on a bigger printer, because we were still reinvesting all of our money into inventory, into our business to grow it. So we did invest in the little 450 Turbo, and that worked fine for us for 2 years. It just got kind of frustrating sometimes when they couldn't scan the barcode. Like I said, that doesn't happen very often, but there are times where by our own mistake we've closed out the window, or an order has canceled, or we did a label wrong, and when you have to cancel like that on eBay, it cancels out the whole bulk sheet. So there have been instances where we've had to go to the post office without a bulk sheet and wait for John, our postal guy, to sit there and type every single one in. Really sucked on Mondays when we had like 25 or 30 packages. And also our Poshmark has weekends sometimes where we'll sell enough volume in Poshmark that it just didn't make sense to cut the paper and tape anymore. It was time for us to upgrade to the Arkscan. But like I said, at the very least, very, very, very least, when you're first starting out, you should at least be printing paper labels at home. No one should be taking any packages to the post office and paying those retail prices. There's no need for you to do that. You are an entrepreneur, you own your own business, and you get discounts for that through eBay, through Pirate Ship. There's other places people get discounted shipping online. So there's no reason that you should be paying full price. And then you can work your way up. Some folks jump right from paper to an Arkscan Rollo or Dymo 4XL, and some folks work their way through the 450 Turbo first. Whatever way works for you, there is no wrong way. And like I said, there's no shame in starting with the paper labels. Almost everybody starts with those as they're building their business and building their capital. I am going to also, so down below, I'm going to put a link to the Dymo 4XL, the Rollo, and the Arkscan, which is the one that we just upgraded to a couple weeks ago. I'll put a link to all three. I would personally say that from personal experience, from friends that I've talked to a lot of resellers prior to this video, I've researched into these printers. I would say they're all comparably the same. They're all three good. I wouldn't recommend any one over the other. The Arkscan's really, really great. I really like it, but I've seen people use the Rollo and I've seen the XL in action, and they're all really great printers. So I'll include all three links, and you can make your own decision. If it's time for you to upgrade to one of those, you can make your own decision. You can go to the links on Amazon. You can compare the printers. You can see who's priced at the best, who's on sale maybe for Black Friday or Cyber Monday right now. And then you can make your own choice from there. If you're in our Facebook group, feel free to go in there and start a thread, guys. Start a conversation in there or a dialogue and ask folks, which printer do you have and why do you like it? Did you ever try any of the others? What do you like better? Feel free to do that as part of your research. I absolutely recommend people do research before they buy. Before you make a huge investment into your business, you need to do your research and decide what's going to be best for you. So you guys are more than welcome to start threads in the Facebook groups with polls or any kind of stuff like that and ask folks questions about any of the printers and do all the comparisons there. And then you can use the links and look on Amazon and compare prices and stuff. They all use the same labels, so that's going to be the same cost for you. And then under those three, I'm going to include a link to the 450 Turbo. So if you're not quite ready for the big boys yet, but you want to upgrade to a thermal printer, which I absolutely recommend, you can get the 450 Turbo. And then I'm also going to include a link to a paper printer. Now, I need to put an asterisk on this because if you were to ask me if people should be printing paper labels and taping them on their packages, I would tell you no. I would tell you, other than a scale, the most important investment you're ever going to make in your business on the shipping side of things is a thermal printer. And I say on the shipping side of things because lighting and background is super important for your photos to even sell your items. Because if you don't have really good photographs to begin with, you're not going to sell your items to ship them. But on the shipping side of things, the most important thing, other than a scale, that you are ever going to invest in is a thermal printer. And I would recommend that everybody get a thermal printer. If you can't afford one now, start setting aside money, like I said. Whatever you can afford, $5 a week, $100 a month, whatever you can afford, set it aside, get a thermal printer. I recommend everybody have one because the amount of money and the amount of time that a thermal printer is going to save you is going to be returned to you thousandfold, and it will really increase productivity as well. Everyone should invest in one. But if you are just starting out and it's out of the question, because even, like I said, Keith and I started with paper too. And I understand that at the beginning, I understand that when people are first starting this business, you really don't even have two nickels to rub together. You're basically selling what you can and taking all the profits from that back to the bins or back to 99-cent day or half off day. And you're buying all the inventory you can to flip it, to take the profit, to buy more, to just keep building your business. I understand that. So, I mean, even though I don't think anyone should be doing paper labels, I'm not going to shame anyone if they do. In the beginning, everyone has to start somewhere. So I will include, in addition to the 3 links to the big boys, as I like to call them, the link to the medium one, the 450 Turbo, I'm going to include a link to a ink or paper printer, whichever you guys like to call it. I'm going to include a link to one I found on Amazon. It's $19.99 for a printer. I believe it does copying and scanning as well, so it's like a one-and-all printer. Prints, scans, copies, that's what ours is. In fact, it's very similar to the one we have. It's the same brand, just a different model. And it's $19.99 for it. So if you don't have a printer yet, if you are absolutely so new to reselling that you don't have a printer and you're still going to the post office, oh my gosh, the amount of money that you're wasting. You can buy this $20 printer and make up your money in like a week. I mean, it's the savings that you can save from printing your own labels at home is just amazing. So this printer that I'm going to link is $20, and it comes with a deal where you can sign with the company for forever ink. It's like $5 subscription a month, and you get ink. And you can set your printer up so that when it starts to run low, it can notify the company to send you more ink. It costs $5 a month for the subscription. So even if you were buying one cartridge a month, like I said, ours were like 30 or 40 when we started out. So you'd be saving like $25. And even if you only bought one cartridge every other month, if you've paid $5 each month for your subscription, you've put in $10 and you get a new cartridge instead of paying $30. So you're saving $20 right there. So the amount of money you could save between not paying retail prices for postage and on ink with the $5 subscription with this printer is amazing. And all that money you're saving, all those savings that you're getting, that could be what you're putting aside towards your thermal printer. Because if you're doing things a certain way right now and you change it up, that's extra money. So all the other money that you're putting back into your business is still there, but all the extra savings that you're going to get can be what you're putting aside to upgrade to a thermal printer originally. So that would be my asterisk or my caveat. I don't recommend paper printers at all unless you are only using it as a stepping stone to save money to eventually upgrade and invest in a thermal printer. I am going to include, I cannot speak today. I am going to include one more link down below for you guys. The most important thing you will ever buy for your business right here. It's a scale. Because if you're going to print your own labels at home, you're going to have to know what your stuff weighs so that you're paying the proper amount for your postage. You will have to weigh all of your own packages and put the weights in. You can do it at the time of listing or at the time of shipping. Whichever works best for you, you have to work out some kind of a system or a routine that works for you, that's streamlined and allows you to work smarter, not harder. Some folks do it at listing, some folks do it at photographing, and some folks do it during shipping. Find what works for you. Streamline your routines so that you are actually working as productively as you can every day. But you will definitely need a scale. I would say this is the most important thing you will ever buy for your business, and these aren't expensive at all. So I'll include that link down below as well. I'll be back tomorrow to show you guys how super duper easy it is to hook up a thermal printer, put the paper inside of it, and install it on your computer. It's so easy. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Hit that thumbs up before you leave. It really helps the channel. If you haven't already and you'd like to, please subscribe to our channel and help us feed a hungry hippo. If you haven't joined our Facebook group, please do so. It supports the channel as well as gives you access to a really great community of resellers. Link to that is in the description box. And if you want to find us on social media, we're at Flippin Hippos across all social media, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Until next time, go be productive, go make some money. Y'all are the best. Bye.